Hubbard's Don't Make Me Count to 3. We're on chapter 2, Defining Discipline. On page 26, she says, in order for us to reach the hearts of our children, we must realize that there's far more to parenting than getting our children to act right. We have to get them to think right and to be motivated out of a love of virtue rather than a fear of punishment. We do this by training them in righteousness. Again, she's pulling heavily from Ted Tripp's Shepherding a Child's Heart and kind of saying it's all about the child's heart. I would refer you to all the Shepherding a Child's Heart deep dives because we really go into, we ask questions about that there. And I would ask question here on what basis, basis are parents to be probing their children's hearts, assigning motivations to their children's hearts, trying to shape their children's hearts. I find it fascinating that she does quote Ephesians 6:4 on page 26, but only the second half. In Ephesians 6:4, we are told to bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. She skips over the do not provoke or embitter your children. On page 27, we get our first kind of indication that spanking is going to be very present in this book. She writes, when they disobey, we think we've done well to say that was wrong and you shouldn't have done it. Whack, whack, whack. Now get in your room. When we do this, we have only done half of what God has called us to do. And this shows up, she speaks very matter-of-factly about spanking throughout. And as far as I know, she hasn't retracted anything. On page 26, she says, we don't need the latest fad methods. We need God's methods. Lots of popular Christian parenting resources have this false dichotomy. This is not really surprising from a resource heavily influenced by nouthetic teaching. Now, in this chapter, we also get a discussion of sin. Sin is not defined as per usual in these books, but you parents are going to be told a child's sin is the problem. She's got a couple points here. Your child is born sinful, so she has a theological framework of original sin. Sin is bound up in the heart of your child. She quotes Proverbs 22:15. Folly is bound up in the heart of the child, and kind of equates sin and folly there. She also says sin is not a laughing matter and begins talking about very young childish behavior as sin. This shows up a lot in Christian parenting teaching, and it's kind of a sideways way of flattening sin. So you have a childish response, or a child maybe kind of not obeying right away, or doing something that when they're young we might be tempted to laugh off, and really is equating as this is what sent Jesus to the cross to die for. And it's what children are going to be directly told this as well.